welcome back to the Mezcal Buzz Experience. We finally did it. We finally coordinated. We got the man in here, Lucas Assis. We're finally happy to have you here. We've been talking about it for a long time.
I know.
Thank you for joining us.
Nah, thank you, man. Thanks for having me here. And I know it's been like a year of us trying to get a date together. So
Yeah.
I'm glad it finally worked out.
And it's cool because a lot of you watching, I'm sure you know who our guest is and follow him already. I get it a lot of the times too, like, oh, you have a mezcal channel, or you should follow this guy. You should follow. Like, guys, I know I do. It's cool. But
Thanks,
I mean, you've been traveling a lot. You just got back recently as well from trips. Do you want to catch us up on what's been happening in your life, travel life, and stuff?
Yeah. I was just in Mexico, and at this point I'm in Guadalajara like twice a month. It's become like our second home. We love it there, and it's always cool to go for work, but also see our friends and everything that's in Guadalajara, our favorite bars and all that. But I was in Mexico for like 2.5 weeks this time. It was a little longer because it was more like it was a work and travel with family kind of thing. So we went in for Patron. We had a trip with Patron where we saw the Patron 100 that came out. So we got to go to the Hacienda and spend some time there too. And then Michelle, my wife's parents, then flew to Guadalajara, and then we kind of did a road trip. So my suegro is from Zacatecas, this little rancho in Zacatecas that's maybe like 200 people, 150 people. And we hadn't been in like 7 years. So it was cool that we got to, meet them at the airport and then drive to Zacatecas. It was the fiestas, so the town parties of the patron saint of the town. So we got to see, the festivities for that. And then after that, we drove another 10, 11 hours to Michoacan to see Michelle's mom's side of the family and stay there for a little bit too. And then came home for some work. So this trip was a little bit of like, work and fun and vacation. But yeah, I'm in Guadalajara a lot, working with different brands and consulting for trips, helping brands bring, if they want to open, like especially the LA market, they, come to me to see like what bartender should we bring and what bars should we focus on. So I help them with that. Some recipe creations as well with brands over there, and some guest shifts at bars as well. So there's always something. We were also just in Sonora. I feel like this month we've drove in Mexico more than we have probably ever, because we went to the Tucson Agave Heritage Festival, which is an amazing festival. And from there, then we drove down to Hermosillo, and we did a Bacanora trip, which was a part of Mexico that I hadn't been to. And also like mezcal, or, destilado de agave that I didn't know much about.
Oh, yeah.
I knew some of the history, the prohibition of it and how long it was prohibited for production. And, people died trying to making Bacanora, but to get to spend some time driving all over Sonora, which is a huge state, and seeing that was awesome too. It was like something new for me, which was really cool. So,
Dang, that was a lot.
Yeah,
a lot to
that was
unpack.
the last month.
It's funny.
No wonder it's taken so long to get you on the show. Yeah.
No, totally. That was a lot, because I think I had all these questions, like, and my eyes were rolling back like a shark right now. Like, all right, remember that? We were going to pull a bottle right now, but right now, because of your trip, I want to pull, if we could do our first tasting. Let's pull that Jaramillo there.
Okay.
If you see that.
Oh, yeah.
Which one is? Oh, cool.
And the reason is this one's from Zacatecas. So I was going to ask,
no
like,
way.
if you got any tastings or mezcales.
I didn't, man. It was one of those things that, like, one, because it's a rancho, right? There's nobody that's going to have anything good here. And, of course, they're drinking the usual stuff that small towns in Mexico are drinking. But then it wasn't until, like, the last day that we were there, there's, like, this little door that's kind of a cantina in the rancho there. And we were talking to family, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, we were there. And, like, oh, these guys were, like, drinking tepe. And I was like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, we were drinking tepe. And I was like, wait, there's tepe here. And they were talking about how, yeah, it's not too far from here. The tepehuanas that makes it, like, Mesonte has a tepe expression. It's incredible mezcal. But by the time I found this out, we were leaving, so I didn't even get to go to the cantina and see what they had. So I'm like, okay, next time now I know to bring some bottles with me and then start asking questions.
Yeah, right on.
But I haven't tried much from Zacatecas.
Cool. This one is Mezcal Jaramillo. It's from the Jaramillo family. In the region, I'd have to check the region, but I met Isabella Jaramillo, and this is from, it doesn't say here. I'm sorry, I can't tell you the region.
Okay.
But this is made with agave salmiana.
Okay, it does smell like a salmiana.
And an interesting thing is that I found a couple of things interesting from this one, from what she was telling me. Her father's a producer. They do it in traditional brick ovens de mamposteria, like
Cool.
above ground. Instead of putting a lot of wood in it, they do it with like fibers and pencas that are
Oh, cool.
left over. So not like a lot of heat
Yeah.
and a lot of
Slow.
smoke that comes out very slow. And this one's at 50. But one thing that I thought was interesting that she was telling me is that they brought it up higher ABV because they're at a lot of the mezcal fests in around Mexico, and Oaxaca predominates with their expressions being higher
Right.
ABV. But she's like, traditionally we like our mezcales around 40% ABV here, but people were like, oh, that's not high proof enough. That's not. She's like, so we've started upping them. But so what we're, she was like, I would love you to come
Oh, wow.
and taste what our gusto is, right?
Right.
But yeah, so this is, I was
That's
like,
so
hey, you
cool.
just came back, let's taste a.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And I want to check out where they're from. And man, that's a really good salmiana.
I get
Ooh.
other times we've tasted it before, we were saying I get like a waxy, I called it crayon at the time.
I had
totally see
like
that.
the candy corn.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
But then I
Like
get a
kind of
lot
a
of green
sweet vibes.
apple. But
But a little cheesy too, right? Like a little
yeah.
that Greek yogurty
Yeah.
funkiness. That's really nice. That's really cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. I haven't had much from Zacatecas other than like derrumbes and like, Hacienda Buñuelos and stuff, which is funny enough, Michelle's last name, but nothing to do with, with that family. Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit because when we unpacked right now all that info you're saying, I guess there's gonna be a multiple part question, right?
Yep.
So like, apart from your public profile and sharing brands and working in all the traveling, you were mentioning a lot of other things that you do, like consulting. You do a lot of guest jobs. You're bartending. Catch us up a little bit. Like, who's Lucas Assis before the fame, right? Yeah, before all that. Like, what's your background? How does the world of mezcales and agave spirits come into play, and then how you're now working on other things besides like not just on camera and sharing, right? You're doing a lot of other projects, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So see how far we want to go back, but
I was born.
Long
That's my name.
so back in Brazil. So I am, Brazilian, born and raised in Brazil. So I was born in Brasilia, the capital of Brazil, but grew up in the south part of Brazil, near Argentina. Paraná is the state, Londrina is the city. And then, long story short, again, my dad came to study. My dad was a pastor. He's not a pastor anymore. But he's still very much involved in the church and mostly with nonprofit organizations in Africa. So I grew up with this notion of like, one, the world was small because my dad was traveling the whole world when I was little, and there was somebody from a different country in our house literally every weekend, right? So then when I was 10, 11, we moved to the West because my dad came to study and get his PhD here. So we went first to Spokane, Washington. That's where I learned English. We lived there for like 6 months. And then moved down to LA, where my dad started going to school here. And then basically my parents split up, went back to Brazil. And then when I was 17, came back to finish high school and just stayed with my dad. So that's like, long story short of my journey to the U.S. But right out of high school, I was trying to look for a job. My dad was like, hey, you need to figure this out. You need to get a job. And I started applying a bunch of different places. Had no desire to work at restaurants, never even thought about it. And this one week, my dad was good friends with somebody that, one of the owners of Houston's restaurants, Hillstone Restaurant Group.
Yeah.
And they were talking. He said, "Oh, my son is looking for a job," and they were like, "Oh, he should apply at the Pasadena location." And my dad told me, and I was like, "Dad, I don't want to work that, But then I was like, "But I also always wanted to travel. I always wanted to take time off and just I had this romantic idea of just backpacking across Europe for a year or something like that." So I was like, "What job would allow me to do that?" And it was like, "Well, restaurant jobs, because if you get your shifts covered, they don't care how often you're here,
Yeah.
So I went in for their interview, got the interview, and I really fell in love with this hospitality industry, way more than I wanted to. And I was back in high school, man, I was just like this really shy metal kid, with like super long hair and makeup and painted nails and like, and getting into the hospitality kind of just brought me out of this like shy shell, talking to people and all that, and became a host there, and we started getting bigger in the hosting thing, became like the head host, and then kind of cheesy, but like I became 21, I was like, hey, I want to become a bartender. I want to become a bartender, bugging the managers over and over again. And then one day somebody called out and they're like, do you want to become a bartender? And I was like, yeah. He's like, then get behind the bar right now on a double. And I was like, let's do it. Cool. And then I remember the first day, they're like teaching me how to cut limes and how to fill the ice bins and everything like that. And then I became the service well bartender. At Houston's, when you start as a service well. So basically you're making the cocktails for the dining room. You're not really interacting with the guests. But for me, it was awesome because it just made me, one, learn the classics, learn the speed that Houston's, demands from you, and also learn how to be clean, which I think are good qualities of a bartender, fast, clean, and knowledgeable. And so I, just really started getting more and more into spirits. And when I like something, I get obsessed over it. So I wanted to know not just how to make an old fashioned or a Cosmo or a margarita. I wanted to know who made it and where and why and all that. So I started researching all that and really falling into that. And then really started getting more into whiskey. And then one of the head servers at Houston's left to start a new project called Plant Check in Westwood. And he brought me with him. Oh, cool. He was just like, hey, I want you to come with. So I went in, and that was my actual first bartending job, where I was literally talking to guests and all that. And again, I just really fell in love with it. And, the restaurant really was focused on craft whiskey and beer. This was during the time when everybody was just talking about bourbon, right? Yeah. Plant Check was like the biggest buyer of Buffalo Trace in LA. So we were getting all the pappies, and I was getting into that world of collecting, and then they focused on Japanese whiskey. So whiskey was the first spirit that, you can't talk about American history and not talk about whiskey and all those kinds of things. So again, I got obsessed with it. Yeah. And then one day, as different restaurants in LA started focusing to agave, and that's when we started seeing, restaurants like Gracias Madre, and all that come out. The restaurant that I Plant Check also did the shift into agave spirits. And at this point, I'm the beverage director of the program. I'm training on the bartenders. We've opened 3 restaurants at this point in LA already. So this is fast forwarding in a few years. And I remember the CEO of the company telling me, because I was starting to get into tequila, and mostly because I started dating Michelle, we started going down to Mexico with her, drinking tequila with her dad, that kind of stuff. So I was just starting naturally, naturally, just a little bit of what is this tequila thing and this mezcal thing, right? And then the CEO of the company was like, hey, I know you're learning more about that. We're hiring this executive chef who was the first guy to open a mezcaleria in the U.S. called Mezcal in Denver. If you want to learn, you need to be with him. So I met, his name is Sean Yantz, and Sean literally taught me everything. I became a sponge around him. He was awesome. He would take me to tastings. He would take me to events. Any brands that would come in, to taste some stuff, he would bring me with him, and he asked me questions and all that. And he kept telling me about this brand called Fortaleza. He's like, you need to know about this brand. And he's a Harley guy. So he was really good friends with Guillermo. They would ride Harleys all the time and stuff. And then he brought in Fortaleza, and he said, anybody come in and asks for shots or anything else, you serve them this. If they don't like it, just buy them the shot. Yeah. And I never had to buy anybody a shot. But this was also a time where I would order a case of Fortaleza from Wine Warehouse, and they would deliver 2 because they couldn't move it, right? So they were trying to move Fortaleza. Wow. And so I started becoming more obsessed about mezcal and tequila in general because of that. And then one of Michelle's best friends was getting married in Tapalpa, in Jalisco. So then it was an excuse for us to go to Jalisco. So then I told Sean, I was like, hey, I'm going to be there. Can I go to tequila? And he's like, oh, you got to go to Fortaleza. So Fortaleza was my first distillery. And I remember walking in, seeing that place, and thinking oh, I'm going to be obsessed with this. Yeah. This is insane. This is art. And long story short, that kind of is exactly what happened. Yeah. And I talk about Fortaleza a lot, and people think, oh, the influencers get paid. I'm telling you right now, Fortaleza doesn't pay any influencers. For me, what I talked about it too, it's this personal story for me. It's this sentimental value of the brand. That's the first brand that I got into, the first brand that I saw the story of it, and the first brand that I got to see the distillery. So it's part of my tequila journey, not just because it's an incredible tequila, right? Yeah.
Can I ask on that to expand? Because I think, like, how awesome is it for like brands or programs that are growing in any sector, I guess, right? But in the agave spirit sector, in this case, to have someone like you that's not only just like interested, but it's like hyper interested. Like you're looking, you're learning, and you're seeking that more information. So the way that you linked up with Fortaleza and went there, it seems, like you said earlier, very natural. My question, I guess, is this, because you mentioned a good point, you're like, oh, the influencers get paid, or this sounds like this was kind of pre all of that.
Yeah, this was 2017.
Yeah, so this is like a different type of visit at the time of what now they are, huh?
Yeah, at that point they were doing like industry only. You couldn't just go to Fortaleza, you know. They were doing their industry trips that as a bartender you always heard how epic the industry trips were in Fortaleza. But yeah, as far as I know, they weren't doing tours like you can just, you know, buy a tour and tour the distillery like you can now. So yeah, this is in 2017. So that's when I really became obsessed, right? And then I also got to go down to Oaxaca. Sean put me together with Del Maguey. We went for my 30th birthday, so this is in 2019 now. And it was this, you know, we were supposed to visit a bunch of producers, and we got to the first one in Santa Catarina, Minas, and we just hit it off, and we stayed there until midnight, didn't go anywhere else, you know? And again, I was like, man, and it was like literally my 30th birthday, and I was just like, God, I'm really getting obsessed with this. It was like, yeah, there's something mystical about the mezcal and agave in Mexico, right? And at this point, me and Michelle were married, and I was just like, you know, in love with Mexican culture, the food, and all that. And that's 2019. 2020 then came more into like the content stuff, because I've always liked to take pictures, to film. Like all these trips that I'm talking to, they're probably on YouTube somewhere, because I was just filming because I wanted to film.
Yeah.
And then I would just edit them and post, and just, there was never a plan. It was just like, I like taking pictures and filming and editing, and I want to share it because, you know, why not, kind of thing. But when the pandemic started, you know, the job that I was still working at Plant Shack was underneath the apartment building. So 90% of the people that came to the bar are regulars. Most of them had my phone number, knew my schedule. And then one of them asked me once, like, hey, you know, everything okay? Checking in on you, but also we really missed your cocktail. So we started talking. He was like, man, it's a Friday night. I'm like at home with my wife. Would you make us like a margarita to go? And I was like, man, I don't think the city's going to crack down on bartenders trying to make some money when the world's ending. Right? So I said, yeah. So I literally made it, put it in a mason jar, and I put it like in his front door, stepped, you know, 10 feet away, and like waved and then left. But then that day he told his friends. The next day the friends started texting me for margaritas. And it just became this like word of mouth thing. Then I was like, wait, this might be a cool thing to do. There's something here. Yeah. So then I decided to just say something like, okay, I'm going to create a new menu every Tuesday. I'm going to create a new cocktail menu. And then you order the day before. The next day I deliver. So the first like 4 months of the pandemic, that's what I was doing from like 9 to 5. It became a thing. You know, and it was all through Instagram. So every Tuesday I'll post a new menu on my Instagram. Yeah. And not only did it like ease the craziness of the pandemic when we're not doing anything, but it kept me the creativity of bartending, right? Yeah. Whenever it's slow, when you're bartending is when you're creating different things, you're trying different things, and there's a regular there like, hey, try this. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite parts of bartending. And that still let me do that, you know? So I was still trying to do different syrups and infusions at home, trying to create different cocktails. Michelle was still working her 9 to 5, and she was like in the childcare business kind of thing. So she was like working a lot because she was in charge of like knowing the regulations and that were changing every day to, you know, tell the childcare providers that. But anyway, so I'd get home at 5 and she'd be getting off of her laptop and then we would be like making syrups and infusions and, you know, packaging everything for the next day. So that's when I saw like a growth on social media because of this thing. And then when things started to open in LA, and I was like, hey, I don't want to get in trouble with this. So I did a hard last call. Then people started asking me like, okay, if you can't, we get it, you can't sell it, but like, can you teach us how to make it? Yeah. So then I was like, oh man, that's a no-brainer. So then I started posting tutorials on how to make the cocktails. I started posting about, you know, agave spirits and my knowledge of that and my thoughts and feelings about it. And then that's when I saw it growing into something else, you know. So yeah, I feel like I talked a bunch, but that's kind of like a little bit of the story.
I mean, maybe we can get into this with another pour. I think we can just keep the conversation going and get another pour in. But I want to go back to kind of like that creativity, and when you're experimenting with flavors, because I love to cook and my wife loves to cook, and so we're always like trying new things in the kitchen, and I just want to know like where do you find like inspiration for different flavors, or when you're like trying to come up with these new cocktails, like where are you pulling that?
I love that. I think it's a little bit of everything. I think a lot of it has to do with food.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this really works. I just made today, just like playing around, this like watermelon feta cheese mint cocktail, because I was like, I love a good watermelon feta cheese salad.
Yeah.
What I mean? So those are things that like pop up.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a really cool community in the bartending space too, that we talk a lot. And we like bounce questions off of each other, so that can be inspiring. Like, oh, that sounds really cool. Like, oh, what if I do this?
Yeah.
So that's been a really cool community. That's like, especially in the last few years.
Yeah.
Especially in the content side, that we talk
sure.
a lot.
I was gonna
bounce
say
ideas
there's
a lot.
like a lot of like, I feel like when we go to these events and we're meeting these other bartenders, and because we're not obviously not bartenders ourselves, but it seems like it's a pretty tight community. And there's a lot of like, it seems like there's a lot of collaboration.
For sure.
Yeah.
And even outside of the content space, like LA, man,
Yeah.
it's a tiny industry, especially in a city the size of LA.
Yeah.
But everybody knows everybody, or the guy that knows that other person, you know what I mean? And it's one of the things that I love about LA. Of course, I'm generalizing, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, it's this really like tight-knit community that there's this it's like growth and competition and not competing with each other, which I feel like a lot of the big cities with like, there's more of a competition that I don't love,
Yeah.
And in LA, no, it's like about bringing the industry together, and especially with like what Max is doing with Daisy and Mirate, but there's also like Mike at Thunderbolt, and Death and Co is here too.
Yeah.
I can name a bunch of bars, but like you see that there's this camaraderie between these guys, outside of the content side, and actually the ones that are being behind the bar. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, I feel like that's true. That's a great point, because it's kind of like the genuine interest that everybody has, that when you do come together, it's like it's not competing. Like you see someone doing like something, you're learning, you're collaborating with stuff. So,
exactly. I love when cities have, like Guadalajara for me, I think is one of the cities that has that the most. Everybody's friends with everybody. Everybody has their own bars, but like, you see El Gallo Tanero doing a party and inviting bars from all over Guadalajara, or Mecenas for their first anniversary, they're celebrating at El Gallo Tanero. You know what I mean? There's like this really cool camaraderie of like, no, it's about the industry.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I love the cocktail scene in Guadalajara.
Yeah, I was just going to say, go ahead.
I was just to continue on that. I was going to say that's a great transition to maybe our next
Oh
pour.
yeah, for
And
sure.
You could ask, tell us about that.
Yeah. So I brought in some of the Ocho with El Gallo Tanero, talking about them. Yeah. So El Gallo Tanero is this, if you've seen my videos about anywhere in Guadalajara, I probably have been in El Gallo or talked about it. But I love this bar, man. It's this tiny little bar in Colonia Americana. Yeah, please. In Colonia Americana. And, they're top 50 and all that too. And I think one of the reasons why I mentioned that they're on the top 50 too is because it's hard to get on those lists and not carry the brands that usually sponsor the events, right? But you go to El Gallo and it's a small back bar with just tequilas that we would love, and mezcales. And what I see is they definitely focus on Jalisco, but there's mezcales from Michoacan, from all over the place. And the team there is amazing. I can talk about them forever. Freddie, which is one of the owners there, and his wife, Ale, who's one of the head bartenders, Sophie, just the whole team, man. It's this like, there's something special about that place. So anyway, for this one, they partner every year with the tequila brand for their anniversary. For their 8th anniversary, made sense that they partnered with Ocho, right? So this is something that they wanted to do something different. It's a Joven, which is the first Joven, and as far as Carlos told us, the only Joven that Ocho will ever do.
As you say that, for some viewers, especially the crossover between tequila and mezcal, can you explain the Joven concept?
That's right. It's a good point. So, yeah, a joven in mezcal means that it's unaged, which will be a blanco in the tequila world. A joven in the tequila world means that it's a blend of a blanco with an aged expression. The ratios don't matter. As long as if it's blended, it's a joven. You probably also know them as gold, but it's such a bad connotation that they, which I get because of certain brands that have gold, right? But it's so this is a joven. It's a blend of a reposado and a blanco, and it's also a high proof, which is like Ocho does rarely, right? It's not very common, so it's at 48 ABV. And this one could only be bought at El Gallo, so you couldn't buy it anywhere else, just at their store,
cool.
which I like that too. But yeah,
Oh yeah, that's dope. So you brought this one back
from Guadalajara.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course,
Cool.
of course.
Oh, that smells good.
Man,
Yeah.
Ocho really doesn't miss, huh?
No, right? And I love that it's like 48, but drinks a little bit like it's still there, that
Yeah.
punch, but it
Yeah.
drinks a little easier.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is delicious.
For the anniversary, they got a train. So there's a like Tequila Express, which is actually like a super nice train that leaves from Guadalajara and goes to Tequila, and then Tequila Guadalajara. It's like a 6-hour like little tour that you can do.
Oh, cool.
So for their anniversary, they actually worked with that train, and they got bars from all over the world, like Argentina, Canada, all over the U.S., Mexico, and each train cart was a bar from somewhere.
Oh, cool.
It was insane.
That's rad.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. Max was bartending there too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I see it a lot on your social. Like, I mean, you're obviously down there a lot, but Guadalajara, the bar scene down there, like,
Yeah.
is wild, huh?
It really is, man. It's like
Like world class.
world class, absolutely. Like, because
Yeah.
Mexico City gets all the awards and all the accolades, which I get. But
Yeah.
Mexico City is just like this giant city,
Yeah.
right? Like literally one of the biggest cities in the world. Guadalajara is kind of like shrunken down, but there's still this like world class bars. I mean, now they have two, and this is a city that's like much smaller than LA or
Yeah.
I forget how many people live there, but it's not close to LA. And they have two bars in the top 50, So they have El Gallo, which I talked about, Mecenas, which is like this bar that everything that they make is in-house. So their Fernets, Chartreuse, Triple Sec, liqueurs, all that is made in-house. They don't work with brands. So you go there and it doesn't say Cascawing or Fortaleza. It would say like Chava Rosales because there's no brands that can go in. The food is this like world-class food. It's the same chef from Arca in Tulum, which is like a Michelin top 50 restaurant. So, and it's this like driveway. Literally, like they built this bar in this driveway. And you have Farmacia Rita Perez, which is like this perfect like dive, but incredible cocktails in mezcal and like jukebox kind of vibe. And you have De La O, which is like this amazing cantina tiki on Sundays. Like there's just so many different concepts, and they're literally walking distance from each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like Guadalajara is, and there's other places, not just in Colonia Americana, that you can leave to. That the cocktail scene in Guadalajara, man, it's passionate, it's tight knit, it's pretty incredible.
That's awesome.
What's it like being able to, again, it's kind of like the question from earlier of you're doing so much more than just what we see like on the camera, like being able to like guest bartend at different places. Again, that camaraderie, I had trouble with that word earlier, camaraderie with like other bartenders or patrons that are there. Like, I'm sure you could just enter a place like that and they're like, hey, like jump, like walk behind the bar, do stuff like, what's that like,
Dude, honestly, it's a dream come true, I like I said, like I got into the hospitality because I wanted to get a job that could like get me to travel, allow me to travel. But when I really got into bartending and like, there's all these bars that I look up to where like, oh, it'll be amazing to go there one day and sit at the bar and get a drink, and to be able to bartend at some of those bars now it's pretty awesome, man. It's something that, it wasn't a plan, you know what I mean? But it started happening with the content and, really getting into like studying more and like learning techniques and meeting people in that space. But yeah, man, I don't know what else to say other than it's a trip. But it's
awesome.
it's one of my favorite things that came out of the content side. Because I do miss being behind the bar way more than I thought I would. So getting to step behind the bar, once a month or twice a month is, especially with friends. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And what's it like, kind of bringing it back to the content stuff and like growing in that? How do you select, or what's it like to work with a brand for you? How do you choose like who you move forward with, or what interests you that you gravitate to? Like, hey, I want to learn more, work with the brand. I understand now, you mentioned you're with the agency now.
Right.
So like, what's that like growing up because you I imagine it wasn't like that right away,
Right.
right? So like, how does it change, and how do you adapt, I guess, to
Yeah.
those changes?
I think it's always changing. You know what I mean? I think part of being in that side of social media is like you really have to be like watching what's changing and evolving because it's so easy to just get stuck.
Yeah.
But as far as like how I work with brands, and this would be like Agave brands, right? So like when I first started seeing that this could be a job, and there was a growth of engagement and followers and all that stuff. It was one of the things that we talked about was like we're never going to sacrifice, a paycheck for a brand that we don't work with, that we don't like. Essentially, like we're not going to work with brands that we don't believe in, right? We can't just like I hate using the word sellout, but like we're not just going to like all of a sudden I'm over here talking about like additive free, quality, family, culture, and then here I am working with a brand that doesn't believe in all that because they pay really well.
Yeah.
Right. So that was a big thing for us, and not just in the sense of like image. It's for myself. I couldn't bring myself to do something like that, right? So first, I need to like the brand. When it comes to Agave, like I get sent a lot of bottles. There's a lot of brands that want to work with me, and there's a lot of brands that I say no to. Most of the brands are fine with it. Some of the brands don't love when they hear no, and they get a little upset, and it's fine. You know what I mean? I get it, and it's nothing personal. It's just like, hey, I didn't like it. Even if it is something that's well made, like my palate didn't like it, I'm not going to be able to work because I can't sell something that
you don't,
or promote something that I don't believe in, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first. We don't do any talks without me trying the brands first, and I try to do like a blind tasting so I don't, get just like I already don't like this image. I'm not gonna like it kind of thing. And then from there on, nowadays it is the agency, right? So to be completely like open, the agency is more towards the things that are outside of Agave. When it comes to Agave, especially small brands, it's some things that we work with them because it's a lot of the brands that we work with are, you guys know what I mean? There's like two people that own the brand or something like that. And so it's like, hey, what do you need? What do you work? It's very customizable. And then I just tell the agency like, hey, I need a contract for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, there's like bigger brands. There's also brands outside of Agave. There's, we're working a lot with like tourism boards now and stuff. That all goes to the agency. But it's not like where the agency is doing everything. Michelle is the one that talks to the agency. Honestly, I don't really talk to her managers and stuff. Michelle is way more organized in that sense. So then after that, then it becomes like, okay, so what's the scope? What do we need? What are you looking for? Right? Is it brand recognition? Is it a shopping video to show people that you were at a certain store? Is it just a cocktail to get people to always think about like, oh, you can use this for the cocktail? So the scope of how we work with brands, I couldn't tell you one way because it's so different for so many brands that we work with.
But it sounds like, what I guess what it sounds like is like you're able to work with these smaller brands still in Agave because you're passionate about it, and all this other stuff is like it pays the bills, basically.
That's exactly what it is, man. Like like the Agave stuff is the passion, and like I understand budgets and all that, but then I get to work with the other things where it will pay the bills. And,
That's awesome.
And since the beginning when we saw that content could be a job, we're like, well, we know that if we go this route of like additive free only quality stuff, it's not going to be very profitable. So we never want to just be this, you know what I mean? And for me as well, like, right, I didn't want my page was my personal page. That's why it doesn't have like a name, just my name, because it was the page that I had when I first opened Instagram, So it's about more me, but also like my passion for bartending, cocktails, but also other spirits, not just Agave.
Do you still have your first post up?
I don't think I have my first post up. I'm not gonna lie. The first time that like once I saw things growing, I was like, maybe I should go see what I used to post when I was like 15.
That's funny.
Delete that.
Exactly.
What is I just had it. That's cool how it broadens up and like the agency opens it up to things outside of Agave Spirits, but it still like connects it. Like, what have been some of like the coolest projects or something that's memorable that it's like outside of Agave Spirits, but it's a way to bring it? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of?
I think like so when we first got with the agency, like they asked us to do a list of like what's your dream brands, and one of the brands that I put there was Yeti. just because it's an awesome brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like outdoor stuff too. Like I don't go camping all that all the time, but like I love outdoor stuff, and it'll be really cool. And we got to work with Yeti last year.
Oh, cool.
And do like a camping trip for Yeti, and go with our friends and stuff like that. So that was really cool. The other one that I just thought about too is the tourism boards that I mentioned. So we just worked with the Tucson tourism board, Visit Tucson, which they wanted to bring us to Tucson already. Just like, hey, come hang out and we'll see what we can do together. And then they were like, oh, there's this Agave Heritage Festival. Would you like to come? And I was like, oh
cool.
yeah.
Tell me more.
Tell me more. I was like, that's kind of perfect. So then we got to go down there. But then they also wanted to showcase like the proximity of Tucson with Sonora. So then we got to do the Bacanora trip was with Visit Tucson.
Oh, cool.
So it was a really cool way to merge these two things together.
Yeah.
I think those are the two that I can think right now that are really cool.
I mean, that's awesome. That to me, like, it just shows me, or it shows us how a lot of things happen behind the scenes. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of thinking, there's a lot of synergy between different worlds, different things, different brands. So like the work the agency does to connect those things and asking like what's like a dream brand or what's
For sure.
It's pretty dope to see how those things.
There's
like,
a whole
come together.
strategy behind everything. And like, I think for me, it's really important to keep more organic, right? And I usually say like, I'd like to keep 90% organic to 10% sponsored, but the 10% sponsored takes more time than the 90% organic, just as far as planning and strategies and like pitching and all that kind of stuff.
When as we're on the topic of content, like, are you at a point where you're like, you don't want to do content anymore, or is it like, do you ever get like that sense of like, oh, it's just a grind, like you got to do this post and this post and this post, or is it, do you genuinely like find that, do you genuinely have a passion for it, just like you have a passion for like hospitality?
I do. Like, there's definitely times, I'm not going to lie, right? This week, for example, for me, I was like, man, I'm so
coming down to the podcast right now.
No, that was a good break. But because of a lot of my travels, right? Because I'm not home, so I'm gone for a week, and then I have to come back and catch up on content for like the sponsored stuff that's coming out in 2-3 months. That I have to submit, right? So then, like the background of it all is not just like, oh, I'm going to go film.
Right.
It's okay. So let's say how it works, right? The brand initially reaches out and says, hey, we would love to work and send your product. Okay, cool. And then Michelle will say, here's our agent who takes care of that. The agents would then send like media kits and provide all that. And then the brand would say, okay, we're going to go back to the brand and then come back. The agency or the brand. Like, we're going to meet and then we're going to come back to you with that. Oh, no, okay, that sounds really good. We want this. Okay, so for that scope of work, it's going to cost this much. And then there's a negotiation that can take a couple of weeks already, right? Once we get there, then it's okay, these are the dates that we propose. Then, so like, from the initial reach out to the video coming out, it's usually like 3-4 months. Right. And people don't see that process that comes out. The thing is that because I'm traveling, when I come home, then I have all this stuff that I have to submit. Because submitting is like, I have to submit a concept. They approve the concept. And then I have to submit a script. Then they approve the script. Then I shoot. And I'm like, hey, we need to change this, and that. And then we just change that. And then I send them the video like, okay, now we're going to send it to the brand. And then it gets approved. And then we can go. And then we'll have to approve the caption. You know what I mean? So all those things that happen.
See? That's a lot, dude.
So all that to say, like for this week, for example, I was in Mexico for 2.5 weeks. I came back and I was like, there's 15 videos that I need to submit for the next 6 months.
Oh, shoot.
You know what I mean? So like now I have to shoot, I have to edit, I have to. So during that time, I'm definitely like, I'm so done with this. But I got to say, most of the time I do love it. I think for me, it's hard to know when to shut it off. Because even like, we're vacationing with family, or we're traveling, or just having dinner with my parents or something like that. It's like, not everything needs to be content. I need to put my phone down and just chill, you know? So that's one of the balances that I struggle with. And I think I only struggle with because I love doing it. But at certain points, I also need to be present, because as much as like, I feel like I've learned how to juggle this, like being present, but also shooting. A lot of people are like, when I post things, they're like, when did you shoot that? And I was like, yeah, I'm always shooting. And then I'll edit when I get home, right? But yeah, so I'm still learning that concept. But for the most part, man, I do love
it. That's awesome. I mean, I think to have that longevity and to be like where you are, is you have to have a passion, right? Like, it can become like a grind.
Exactly.
otherwise.
Once it stops being fun
Yeah.
and just becomes a grind.
Yeah.
People can tell. I
Yeah,
feel like,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. The real authenticity.
Right,
And when you look at your content, for sure, it's like you see the passion behind everything.
Thanks,
you're
man.
doing, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shall we do a little pour? Because I
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
hot take right now.
All right.
With all of that happened.
right.
So for a hot take, let's try the Cántaro Chumpate right now. 'cause I
Oh,
feel
this
like
one? Oh, the
hot take.
The real hot take.
Yeah.
The real hot
Oh,
take.
it's a hot take. Like it's a hot.
Well, a
Is
hot
that
topic
puntas?
right now. It is puntas. You're familiar with Cántaro Chumpate? You've
Yeah.
probably seen Rey,
Yeah.
Rey David, saludos.
He is awesome. He's such a character.
He shared this puntas from the quiche.
Oh,
Last
cool.
time I saw him, he's like, "Here, man, take this, compártelo." So,
Love it. Thank you.
73% ABV here, puntas. So I feel like it might just evaporate by the time it
It's a
touches our
hot
tongue. And so with that, the another shot.
I'm just gonna see your your hand.
Got a hot take here. So that's a lot of like the scripting, the planning, the doing all that, and it's building up, right?
Yeah.
So my hot take to you is, do you or have you been using any tools to help, like AI? Do you use any AI? And I know you are not for AI with like some stuff online, because I'm not either, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I do use AI sometimes. So just curious, do you use any tools that help your workflow or anything?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I could, talk for another hour about how much
Yeah.
I hate AI. And
We'll go off on the
we can go
it
off
is a
for
hot
sure. And there's a lot of AI slop out there that you could tell, when it is. But I do use it as a tool. I think it's exactly what you said. You know what I mean? So, for example, today, like this week, right, I had to do a bunch of scripts. So I write the scripts and then I throw it and I just say, hey, can you fix this and make it seem like this and that? Or, but it's never something where I'll just go and say, okay, cool, we're done. It's something like, okay. And I literally would tell it. I was like, hey, do this. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go write it and then I'll come back. And it's kind of weird because it says, sometimes they'll send me the script and they'll end at the end, they'll be like, all right, go write it and then send it back
tell
to
me
me
the next time.
I was like, wait. And there was sometimes that I forgot what I did, but I asked something like, I think I sent it a text that I was writing about a video that's coming up. That's what it was. A video that's coming up that I'm writing about like this attachment of people that are from small towns. And it's about like my father-in-law being from this, and then like our drive and how emotional he was driving into the ranch. And one of our best friends is also from this small town in Jalisco, and how he just has his attachment. He's always talking about his town, right? So I'm writing the script that I want to do for a video, and I said, hey, can you do this? And it sent it back, and I never mentioned Michelle. And it was like, oh, and I was with Michelle. And I'm like, whoa, how do you know Michelle? And he was like, oh, it was past. It's so weird. But it was like, oh, in the past, you like mentioned how Michelle shoots. And like, she's the one that does with all the producing stuff. And I was
You're like, are you watching me?
This is so weird. But that line was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I use it as a tool like that. Yeah. It's always like, hey, fix this, fix the grammar.
Yeah.
Send me and put this to me into a script format.
Yeah.
And then I throw it on Word and then I change it and then
Yeah, facts. I'm the same. I use it a lot to summarize or something, or like you have, like your ideation happens before
Right.
you go there, and it's like formatting, or I need to make 3 documents of this one big idea or something. So, yeah, I'm with that. And
actually, one of the things that I use the most, I just thought about that I use a lot is I write the script and then I put it there and I say, how long is this going to take me to shoot?
Oh, yeah.
And they would say, 2 minutes. And I was like, all right, I need to cut that to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That helps me a lot because I will record and I'm editing. And I was like, well, this video is 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
hey, that's good idea actually. Because one of the things.
This is good.
Did you taste it already?
Yeah.
Man.
Because it was evaporating in my glass.
Yeah.
It's like, I got like peanut butter.
It's funny when you said that. Sometimes it influences what like people see here. When you said that, it did like I smelled.
Peanuts. Yeah, that's dangerous at 73, man.
It's crazy how like it does totally evaporate. Like you feel the mouth
Feel it
just coat
on the lips. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Going back to that though, like the AI slop for sure is like the the generative stuff becomes like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You start to like, it's just like easily identifiable. Like,
Exactly. Or even like the script itself, right? Like it's like a voiceover.
Yeah.
And it's like, this place is not this. It's so much more. It's this,
Oh,
this,
yeah.
and that. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
come
yeah,
on,
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
It's just lazy. Like you didn't even like, read it. You just, recorded it. So
I trip out sometimes though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'll see stuff. I'm like, nah, is that AI or is that like I was telling you guys earlier, I'm gonna do that trail.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing a lot of bear content and stuff. And I saw this video of like a grizzly like smelling a tent, and then it like smashes. I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. And then not shit, but I look. And then like people are commenting AI, or some people aren't. I'm like, man, like, is it? That looked like a real grizzly to me.
I know.
It's
scary, man.
Yeah.
The other day we were in Mexico. Michelle's mom was like showing me a video. She's like, look how cute the little dog saved the kid.
Yeah.
And there's like
yeah.
this kid about to cross the street, and this little chihuahua jumps on him, and I'm like, do I tell her? I was like,
No.
so I think that's AI. And she's like, oh really?
You're like, how could you tell? Well, the dog like held his hand and walked him across. Like, oh,
literally jumped on its neck and then moved.
Well, getting back to your travels, I mean, do you have any plans in the future, or do you ever get back to Brazil, or what's like your like dream list that you haven't been to yet?
Oh, that I haven't been to yet.
Yeah.
Man. So first Brazil, yes. Brazil is tough, man, because like one, it's super far. My mom is always telling me, you go to Mexico all the time, you never come here. I'm like, right, but it's a 2.5-hour flight
Versus like 24.
It's literally, it's like a 12-hour flight to get to Sao Paulo, and then I have to take another 10-hour bus to go see her. So anyway, so it's hard, but also like, of course, it's my mom, my family's are. I want to do that. I want to go see them and disconnect, but I also want to learn more about cachaça. So I'm trying to find some time where I can maybe do both, where I go see family for some time and then go to this part of Brazil that's mostly known for cachaça production.
Oh, cool.
So I can learn more about that.
fill us in on cachaça.
So cachaça is Brazil's national spirit. Brazilians don't love to say that it's rum because it predates rum.
Okay.
So other than, Mexican ancient distillation that I believe happened, but a lot of people don't, right? The whole pre-Hispanic distillation in Mexico. Brazil has the first distillation in the Americas.
Okay.
So as soon as the Portuguese got there, we were distilling sugarcane. There's a lot of Dutch influences into that cachaça thing too. So anyway, all that to say that there's like so much history in Brazil about cachaça, right? But it is essentially a rum agricole in the fact that it's fermented sugarcane juice. They don't make molasses. They just ferment the sugarcane juice. So it's super funky, grassy. It can be beautiful. It can also give you the worst hangover of your life. But there's so much history to it, and that's what I want to dive into. It's funny because in the U.S., people don't know cachaça, right?
This is honestly my first time hearing about it.
Yeah,
Same.
and if you hear about caipirinhas, which is Brazil's like national cocktail, right? It's just lime muddled with sugar and cachaça. Like in the U.S., you don't hear about it. You cannot step in any bar outside of the U.S. Without having a caipirinha on the menu. Like it's everywhere. It's one of the most popular cocktails in the world, but it's never been a thing in the U.S. And I think there's such a gap in the market for that. And I want to show people the history of it. I mean, there was a cachaça revolution in Brazil where like the cachaça producers got together and like kicked out the army and the mayor of the city, and then the army came back and like killed one of the guys and displayed his head. Like it's crazy, screwed up history. So I want to be able to go to Brazil and learn more about that stuff. So that's one of my goals in the next couple of years.
Oh, awesome.
As far as places that I haven't gone, so we got to go to Japan and Hong Kong earlier this year. I had a guest ship in Hong Kong. Japan was incredible. But Hong Kong blew my mind away.
Really?
Like I was ready to move there.
Oh, wow.
Hopefully we're talking, maybe we're going to go back for a guest shift later this year. But I want to explore more of Asia.
Yeah.
I hear that Taiwan has a pretty awesome cocktail scene that's growing. I want to go to mainland China, Singapore, all that. So those are the kind of the countries that I've been
cool.
thinking about going.
Yeah.
You guys know Drifter's Joint?
Yeah.
He's a good friend, and he's everywhere.
Yeah, I just thought he was over there for a while. No,
He was all over Asia.
Asia, yeah.
He went to Taiwan. He went to Thailand. He went to Hong Kong too.
Oh, cool.
But we always talk about like me and him doing like a Middle East trip. So
that'd be cool.
So we keep talking about that. So that would be really amazing to go.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, I don't think there's a country in the world that I would say no to if I had opportunity.
Oh, that's
to go,
awesome. Yeah.
I
mean, it's really awesome that you've like somewhat accidentally found yourself in like your ideal like career.
Right.
Like you've found something that you can travel with.
Right.
You can meet people. You're obviously not this shy teenager anymore.
Still listen to metal music, but now I'm like more colorful.
I want to see a long hair picture, but
My point is it's really awesome that you were able to find this like passion and make a career out of it. So really
thanks,
cool.
man. Thanks.
Yeah.
It still feels weird, but thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
should we do a last pour?
Yeah. You want to do a last pour and wrap it up? Yeah.
Let's. You wanted to share another. I was eyeballing that right there.
So this is so picked this up in Sonora in the Bacanora trip that we did. Bacanora is a wild spirit in the sense that, like, we talked about how it was, I think it was over 100 years of prohibition. He was the governor of Sonora, prohibited production, and then he became the president of Mexico too. And people literally died when they were producing Bacanora. They were like made examples of and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's still so much history. And it's like, how many people risk their lives to keep the culture of the spirit alive?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was really, really interesting to see in person, especially as we go to these like little villages in Sonora. And this one was especially like special to us. So it was one of the days that we were like visiting all the producers, and we're like, oh, I think we can squeeze in one more producer, but we don't know if he's there. Let's just go see. So we go up and he's there. And it's this older gentleman. He's probably in his like late 80s or something. And he's like the nicest ever. He's just like taking us over and stuff. But then I see that he's like repeating himself. His son comes out, and then the son tells him, like, oh no, he has Alzheimer's. Like he doesn't remember who I am. He's like, but you touched the topic of Bacanora. And
really?
He remembers everything.
Wow.
He was like, come with me, let me show you. He takes me to the taverna, and he's like, shows me how everything works. This is the still, this is that, this is where we put this, like giving step by step.
Yeah.
But he kept calling his son another name, or he kept saying that his son was his brother.
Oh, shit.
So it was like super special to have that. We're going through something similar with Michelle's family, with the family member too. So it just tugged in our hearts a little bit. So I had to buy his Bacanora, which is really cool.
Share, then.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah.
More.
4 more glasses up here.
And this one is S50 ABV, and it is just done with the Angustifolia Hall. The stills for Bacanora are super interesting, and like all the ones that I saw, there's a little bit on this one. All the ones that I saw, they kind of look like beer kegs.
Really?
Yeah, and like they're all covered in dirt because they were trying to hide it so people don't see it.
Yeah.
And then the cooking process, I think, was something different too that I hadn't seen. Not everywhere, but most of the places in Bacanora. You know how we were used to the conical ovens for mezcal, with the underground pits, with the rocks and stuff. These are just like literally holes in the ground.
Really?
And they still do have like the rocks, but it's just a straight chute. It's not a conical like that, right?
Oh, interesting.
So it's like cement, and all of a sudden a hole, and then just like straight down.
Oh, interesting.
They put the firewood there, and they just leave the firewood there closed for a day until the rocks around it get really hot. They just put all the piñas in there, straight into the firewood.
Oh, interesting.
Close it, just a little bit of layer of dirt. They close it with this aluminum lid. And then they let it cook for a few days. Oh, so there's no
It's not like direct.
It's not direct. It's
sounds like
exactly
a
because almost like that. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the firewood is still burning, but it's not fire anymore. It's more about the rocks that it's heating up. But it's not like in the mezcal world where it's like you put all the agaves and then the bagazo and then the dirt and all that kind of stuff to create the horno. So that was like I didn't even know it was made like that.
Yeah.
Has a little funk smell to it. So I like it.
And Bacanora has like this straw, like dry, grassy note to me. That's one of the things that I could tell that it's a Bacanora.
And it's not so rough like you would think. 50% ABV. That happens a lot with a lot of the higher proofs. It's like you expect like a super hard
Right.
kick. Also, we've been tasting a bunch too, right? But
And we just did the 73 tips after that one.
No, that's really good. I mean, as we're wrapping up, I mean, what's on your radar next? What's coming up?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of Mexico trips.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the World Cup.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel a little bit of the excitement. As a Brazilian,
Yeah.
our lives are defined every 4 years.
Yeah.
You're like, what happened then? I was like, oh, so that was that World Cup. And even though I know I'm going to get my heart broken. But yeah. So we're trying to be home a little bit more in the summer.
Yeah.
Do have a really cool guest shift with Cascanes in New York for BCB.
Oh, cool.
So Cascanes is releasing their the Nuestras Raíces batch number 2.
Oh, cool.
So the party is going to be in New York at this
cool.
really awesome bar in the rooftop, and it's going to be me, Chris, not just a bartender, and then Christine Wiseman from Miami and Lynette. So pretty crazy lineup.
Oh, wow.
When I heard the lineup and Edwin hit me up, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
just to be part of that crew. So if you guys are in New York, anybody's coming down to BCB, come down to Manhattan. There's a post on my Instagram for that too. But yeah, I think that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, trying to travel some more and do some more guest shifts. Hopefully in Asia, more towards the fall and stuff like that too.
Oh,
So
nice. Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
Right
Well,
on.
Shoot.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm glad we finally got this. I hope there's more to come. There's always
Absolutely.
a great conversation here with some mezcales, agave spirits, and mucho éxito to all the stuff that's
Gracias.
coming your way. For you guys out there, as always, thank you for watching, and make sure to like and follow for more, and we'll catch you next time.
Salud.
Saludcita.
Cool.
Sweet.
Right on, man.
Cool. Awesome, guys.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.